This is Algebra 1 Credit Recovery, Unit 1 Practice. We're going to solve each of these equations, and we're using our steps, Don't Call Me After Midnight. Let's take a look at problem number 1. Okay, first we need to write out our steps, Don't Call Me After Midnight. These are the steps that we're going to go through in order to solve our equation. D represents distribute. In order to distribute, we need parentheses. We don't see any parentheses here, so I'm going to cross through that. Next, let's see if we can combine like terms. Go ahead and draw a line through the equal sign. In order to combine like terms, you're looking on each side. So on the left side here, are there any variables I need to combine or any numbers I need to combine? The answer is no. Let's check the other side. I just have 31, so no, I don't need to combine anything. Let's cross through that. Do I need to move the variable? That's what M stands for. In order to move the variable, I need variables on both sides. Here, I only have one variable on one side. Let's box that term. I have 8n. Okay, so I do not need to move the variable. A says, do I need to add or subtract to get that variable by itself? Here, I have 8n plus 7. So I want to get rid of that 7. In order to get rid of it, I'm going to do the opposite. Instead of plus 7, I'm going to subtract 7. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. These 7's cross out. I'm left with 8n is equal to 31 minus 7 gives me 24. And we did our add or subtract step. The very last step here, this m, asks, can I multiply or divide to get my variable by itself? Here I have 8n, so to get it by itself, we need to divide each side by 8. These 8's cancel out. 24 divided by 8 gives me 3, so n is equal to 3 here. Let's take a look at problem number 2. So here we have a few more steps. Again, I'm going to write my Don't Call Me After Midnight steps and draw my line. First step says, can we distribute? So do I have parentheses here? Yes, I do. I'm going to circle the number in front with its sign, and I'm distributing a negative 7 to everything in the parentheses. I'm left with negative 7a minus 7, and then from there I'm going to bring everything else down. Next step, can I combine any like terms? Again, I'm looking at each side separately. So on this left side, are there any variables or numbers I can combine? And yes, I can. I have a 6 and a negative 7. So 6 minus 7 leaves me with a negative 1. And on the right side here, I have a negative 2a plus 5a. Negative 2a plus 5a gives me 3a. And from there, I'm going to bring everything else down. Okay, so we combine like terms. Next step, can I move the variable? Yes, I have variables on both sides. So from here, I usually pick on the little guy, or I'm looking at which one of my two variables is smaller, negative 7a or 3a. If I can pick on the little guy and it makes sense to move that one, I will. So this one, I have a negative 7a. I'm going to move that to the other side by doing the opposite and adding 7a. That cancels these out. 3a plus 7a gives me 10a. And I bring everything else down, so yes, we move the variable. Let's go ahead and box that variable so I know that that's what I'm trying to get by itself. Next, can I add or subtract? Yes, I can. I'm going to add 6 to each side. These cancel out. Negative 1 plus 6 gives me 5 is equal to 10a. Last step, I can multiply or divide. Here I'm going to divide each side by 10 to get a by itself. And a is equal to 5 halves, and if I 5 over 10, and if I simplify that, I get 1/2. That's my final answer. Let's go on to problem number 3 here. Number 3, don't call me after midnight. Draw my line. Can I distribute? No parentheses, so no. Can I combine like terms on either side? No, I can't. Can I move the variable? Let's see, do I have the variable on both sides? Do I see n on both sides? Answer is no. Let's box the term that has my variable because I want to get that by itself. Can I add or subtract to get that variable by itself? Yes, I can. I'm going to do the opposite of what I see and add 7 to each side. These cancel out. I'm left with n over 4 is equal to negative 13 plus 7 gives me negative 6. And from here I have n divided by 4. I want to do the opposite of what I see to get n by itself. So I'm going to multiply by 4 to each side. And n is equal to negative 6 times 4 gives me negative 24. That's my final answer. Number 4. Write out my steps and draw the line. Can I distribute? No, I can't because I don't have parentheses. Can I combine like terms on either side of the equal sign? Yes, I can. I have an r and an 8r here. R plus 8r gives me 9r. I'm going to bring everything else down. From here, can I move the variable? Do I have a variable on both sides? No, I just have r on one side, so I can cross through that. And let's box that variable. From here, can I add or subtract to get 9r by itself? Yes, I can. I'm going to do the opposite. So instead of adding 11, I'm going to subtract 11. 9r is equal to, what's 29 minus 11? That gives me 18. From here, I want to get r by itself. I'm either going to multiply or divide. So I'm going to divide each side by 9, and r is equal to 2. Number 5. Don't call me after midnight. Draw my line. Do I see any parentheses? Can I distribute? Nope. Do I have variables that I need to combine or numbers on either side of the equal sign? No, I don't. Do I need to move the variable? Do I see a variable on either side? Yes, I do. So from here, I'm going to pick on the little guy. I have 32k and negative 5k. So I'm going to pick on negative 5k and add 5k to each side. 32k plus 5k gives me 37k, and I'm going to bring everything else down. And from here, we can box our variables because now we have just one single variable. From here, we're going to add 32 to each side to get that box by itself. I have 37k is equal to negative 32 plus 32 gives me 0. And from here to get k by itself, I need to divide each side. And k is equal to 0 divided by 37 gives me 0. Number 6. Don't call me after midnight and draw my line. Always our first two steps. Can we distribute? Do I see parentheses here? Yes, I do. So I'm going to distribute. Let's circle the number in front. This is a positive 1/2 and multiply it to everything in the parentheses. 1/2 times 18x gives me 9x. 1/2 times a negative 36 gives me negative 18. Then I'm going to bring everything else down. From there, I'm looking at each side separately. Can I combine any variables or numbers on each side separately here? No, I can't. Can I move the variable? Do I have variables on either side of the equal sign? I do, and I'm going to pick on the little guy, or the smaller variable, which is the 6x. So instead of having a positive 6x, I'm going to subtract 6x from each side. Those cancel out. I'm left with 3x, and then I'm going to bring everything else down. From here, we can box our single term, and from here, I'm going to add or subtract. So here, I have 3x minus 18. I'm going to add 18 to each side. Those cancel out. 3x is equal to negative 12 plus 18 gives me 6. And our last step here, do I need to multiply or divide? Looks like I'm going to divide each side by 3 and get x is equal to 2. Okay. Number 7, don't call me after midnight and draw the line. Can I distribute? Yes, I see parentheses. We're going to have to do that twice. For our first one here, I have 3 times m gives me 3m. 3 times -2 gives me -6. And let's bring down that -5. Okay, I know I'm not going to distribute that 8, so let's bring it down. 2 times m gives me 2m, and 2 times -4 gives me -8. We distributed. Now looking at each side separately, can I combine any like terms? Yes, I can. I have a -6 and a -5. -6 minus 5 gives me -11. And let's bring down that 3m is equal to, on the right side, I have an 8 and a -8. 8 minus 8 leaves me with 0, so all I have left is 2m. From here, can I move the variable? Yes, I can, because I have it on both sides. If I pick on the little guy, that's the 2m, but does it make sense to move my 2m over and leave nothing on the right side? No, it doesn't, so let's move a 3m over from the left side. So I'm going to subtract 3m. -11 is equal to 2 minus 3 gives me -1m. And from here I have my single term variable. Okay, so I'm going to box that. Do I need to add or subtract to get that box by itself? Nope. Do I need to multiply or divide to get m by itself? Yes, I do. I divide each side by a -1. And now m is equal to 11. Last problem, number 8. On this one, draw your line, write out your steps. Don't call me after midnight. Can I distribute? Yes, I can, because I see parentheses. And there's actually a hidden 1 in front of those parentheses. So I'm going to circle this whole -1, multiply it out. -1 times p gives me a -1p, or just -p. -1 times 3 gives me a -3, and bring everything else down. From here, can I combine any like terms? Yes, I can. I have a 19 and a -3 on that left side. 19 minus 3 gives me 16. I still have that -1p is equal to 17. From here, do I need to move the variable? No, I don't. I have just 1. Let's box it. Do I need to add or subtract? I need to subtract 16 from each side to get that box by itself.